Hello and welcome to another part of this video. My name is Gideon and I just want to have a quick talk about today's Supreme Court of Appeal judgment regarding the GOSA interdict and main implication. That has to do with the expired firearm license saga, and it is indeed a saga. And for those of you who are not aware of what happened, GOSA unfortunately lost that appeal. The appeal was upheld by the Supreme Court of Appeal, and there was a cost order involved, and altogether a pretty ugly story. And this is not like an official commentary, an official press release, more just like a brief unpacking after I had a few conversations with some legal minds about what happened. And it does personally hurt because for the past 4 years, this has been a very passionate issue. And speaking directly not for Paul, but to Paul was incredibly passionate about this. At a time when this crisis came to the fore, Paul got GOSA to pick up this fight. It was very much heavily driven by his passion. He got the right people involved. We secured the interdict with Judge Prinsloo, and Judge Prinsloo was a very sympathetic judge. He applied the discretion of the court. He applied his own nuance to the situation, and he gave relief to hundreds of thousands of people, now probably close to 700,000 people sitting with expired firearm licenses. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court of Appeal didn't quite see things that way. It was a very clinical, very clear-cut, very literal judgment in the sense that the law as it's written was applied. There was no discretion taken, and that sends a few clear messages. The first is that the state, being the government and the judiciary, are perfectly happy with how things are going firearm license-wise in this country right now. They really couldn't be bothered to change things. They're of the opinion that you got a license, you got to renew it. The system is what it is. It is what it is. There was a very strong emphasis on separation of powers. The Supreme Court of Appeal wasn't going to tell the government what to do, and they were quite adamant about that. The second thing that there's a clear message is sent that there really is no point trying to litigate for our rights anymore. Those days are done. The only way we're going to fight for our rights is to lobby the people who write the actual laws, is to become politically involved, to become political, which is something that I actually wrote about a couple of years ago, and ultimately we've now reached the point where that is. If we do litigate, it would help to focus on technical and administrative points. Those are easy wins. Those are wins that the community gets all the time, and that really is the only point, in my opinion, worth litigating on from here on forward. It's basically, from now on, this is not a battle that will, and this is something I've said repeatedly, this is not a war that we will win in a court of law. This is a war that we will have to win in the court of public opinion. This is a war that will be won in the court of politics, not in the court of law. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone bargained on us losing this particular battle. We've lost this battle. The war isn't over, never has been. It wasn't going to be won or lost on either side in the courts like this. But the implications are that we as a community will have to decide what direction we want to take it, want the organization, want the fight to go into from here. And I'm a strong advocate of that. We will have to start focusing, lobbying, public opinion, as GOSA has kind of already been doing. Unfortunately, there is a cost order, and there is a bill that will have to be paid. And if all 700,000 people gave 100 Rand, that would probably pay the cost order in the worst case scenario of how it could, at worst, be granted. So that's something we need to start thinking about. Like, are we willing to pay this bill? Are we going to do that? At the time, there were two choices GOSA had, is either fight for people with expired licenses and stand the risk of losing and stand the risk of being smacked down, or not fight at all and just let it happen. No one else was willing to fight at the time. GOSA was, and GOSA took a lot of risks. GOSA put in a lot of hard work. Paul put in a lot of hard work. Paul really put his heart and soul into it. And I know there are many people out there who isn't a fan of the man, but he did a hell of a lot. He did a lot more than a lot of other people did, and I respect that. I respect it hugely. And GOSA took on a fight that, in GOSA's opinion, had to be fought. And again, the choices were either fight or do nothing. GOSA isn't very much a do-nothing organization, and it fought. And unfortunately, this particular battle didn't win. That's my brief analysis on it. There's really not much else to unpack on it. There will be probably an official press release soon. There will be some direction given as to what is the next step, how to go forward with it from here, and explore those routes. But ultimately, I think we've run out of options as to going to court on stuff. And maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. And hopefully that focuses our efforts in a direction. That's all from me. Have a good rest of your evening, and see you again soon, and see you for Whiskey Friday tomorrow. I haven't figured out what time yet, but we'll let you know. Thank you, and bye-bye.